Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite podcast show, episode 188.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that for the show this week.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. And if we're wrong, we'll just take it out. We'll have an episode where we don't mention what number it is. Maybe we should do that anyway, because we're getting very close to a certain episode that we keep talking about and we've hyped up to no point. I think we've done a good job of dousing people's expectations. We did the opposite of being a hype man for that show. I don't know if there's such thing of lowering men. We definitely were lowering men for people's expectations.
Do you think people be like, oh, they're only doing that because it's going to be really, really good?
Yeah, exactly. There's some people like they're going, ha ha ha. They're lowering our expectations, so they smack us with an amazing show. But I guess if you have people who are listening for a long time, they probably know, or people who just know us in general, might be like, they're fucking idiots. There's no way they want them planned.
They did nothing even planned.
No, there is no way they have anything planned for this show. And we never know who will be right. Who will be right? The people that know us personally and for a very long time, or our fans.
Yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'd bet that it's going to be a big letdown.
I think we both would take that bet. We should say that our show this week won't be a letdown anyway.
No, our show this week is jam-packed full of shite.
Yeah, exactly. Our show this week has so much stories, very interesting stories as well. We look into a study that goes into the claims that...
First time ever.
Yeah, that claims that as you get older, hangovers actually get easier, which is, I would say, is the opposite to my experience personally. I don't know about yous. Then we go into a story about Little, where they accidentally built their store on a very historical site. So instead of knocking down the building, they just put a glass floor. So that's an interesting way around it, and a good way to market come see the tourist attraction, and also buy our potatoes.
Yeah, take a look down our middle aisle.
Yeah, exactly. Do you need extra frozen peas? You probably do. Buy them now for 99 cents.
Do you want it? Don't forget your chainsaw.
Yeah, exactly. We also have, we also have the special deal on this quad bike because it is little. Yeah, then we go into Morrissey and why he's annoyed at Brendan Cumberbatch and the Simpsons. And he's
basically why he's a bollocks.
Yeah, basically why he's known for being an absolute cunt. And if you wear on the fence whether Morrissey is just a narky cunt or not, well, he definitely confirmed that he's just a narky cunt. Yeah, and then after that we go into talking about Disney and basically what weird kind of fact about their dolls in Disney World. Ken, you've been to Disney World, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been to Disney World. Disney World's class.
Yeah, did you go as a kid or did you go as an adult?
No, I went 2 years ago.
Yeah, most people do have to go as an adult. I know when I was growing up that going to Disney World was the biggest thing ever. It's what every kid's dream was going to Disney World. But if you came from Ireland and you did a traditional Irish family, which was 92 kids, there's no way you're going to Disney World. And unfortunately, I was never going to.
I was supposed to go as a kid.
Yeah,
I was supposed to go as a kid. We were in Orlando, or we were in Miami.
Yeah, and
the day that we were supposed to go to Disneyland, there was a hurricane.
Fucking
and
Mother Nature.
The train that was supposed to, the train that we were supposed to get was cancelled.
Yeah,
we couldn't go.
And then we have Idiots of the Week, which is always interesting. And our two countries, we only have two Idiots of the Week this week. Our two countries are Ireland and Poland, who are our idiots of the week for very different reasons. So yeah, so that's interesting.
Very, very different reasons.
Very, very different reasons.
I don't know which one's stupider though.
Yeah, like one's just like Ireland should just be embarrassed for itself, and then actually Poland, well, a part of Poland should definitely be embarrassed for itself. Like, I don't think anyone comes on Idiots Week and go, yeah, well, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
we're
proud of that.
We are proud of our life choices. Maybe with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, like maybe they're just proud of the stock cubes. Maybe they're like, well, we're going to keep doing it, and they start just jiggling their ass. Like they didn't seem like they were going to stop at any time soon about the stock cubes and the shoving it in the asshole. Like, yeah, they haven't learned their lesson.
Why would you?
Why? Well, yes, like it's all about that big juicy ass, isn't it?
Wait, that was the reason, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's our show this week. Like we said, so much story to get through. We might as well get into it. And our first story,
let's plow on.
Yeah, let's plow on. Our first story is about a study about hangovers and how they're apparently meant to get easier with time, like heartache, I guess. But like, I think most people's experience around this is completely the opposite. This is why this study is been very, very interesting. Now, I read through it, and like, there's generally when I read through studies that are on articles, they'll give like participants or how the study was performed or stuff like that. It just basically gave their findings of the study. Like I read through the whole article, and everyone went into how many people over what age groups and how did they determine it. And this gave the general conclusion. So like, I don't know, but apparently they did control for drink, because one thing that like that you might say, well, if there was just like, if they just surveyed people what was your hangover on a scale of 1 to 10, and they just did that with a certain group of old people and a certain group of young people, one of the things you might come to conclusion is younger people might drink more. So obviously if you drink more, your hangovers are going to be worse. Whereas as you get older, you kind of know your limits. And that's why your hangovers, if I have the fifth, I will be in a jock.
If I have 4.5, I'll be fine.
Yeah, if I have 4.5, the fifth, you remember that the like, it was like road safety, like don't have the fifth pint. Drive responsibly. Yeah. It was out in the 80s. It's kind of like that. Don't have the fifth pint.
Was that like the 70s or something?
I think it was the 80s. I think it was around the 80s. They had the RSA are saying only have 4 pints.
If you're driving home, only drink 4 pints.
Only drink 4 pints. Drive responsibility. Don't have the fifth. So it's got the same way but different meanings. Like don't have the fifth pint because you will be on the couch crying. But like I remember, and I've drank with younger people over years, and they say the same thing to me. It was, I don't actually get hangovers, and I'm like, fuck you, as I'm dying. And losing.
I don't really get hangovers.
And did you, as a young fella, did you get hangovers?
Occasionally, it would depend if I drank beer, or if beer was involved somewhere, or if I got sick.
Yes.
But if I just like went out, like go out, get drunk, come home, go sleep, I'm fine. Yeah,
see, like I can understand. Obviously, if you're at the point where you're getting sick the night before, you're gonna have a pretty bad hangover. But definitely, what you were saying also about different alcohols, I definitely think I used to say the same thing. I remember when I was going out night outs, I started switching to whiskey because I was like, I don't have as bad of a hangover or no hangover if I go out and drink a whiskey, but if I have beer, my hangover it's like someone put an axe through my head. It was like horrendously bad. But like I definitely, like when I was 21, I never got hangovers. Like very rarely. Only like I said, I'd have to drink a lot. and I'd have to be in a pretty bad way in order to get hangovers. And I heard the same thing. Like when
I gave up drinking beer when I was about 20.
You just pure spirits.
Yeah, just fuck it. Like,
I was never a massive drinker. Like, I was never a person who could hold down my drink at all. I was always the first one to get really drunk, and I was always the first one to fall asleep. So switching to spirits is not really an option for me, because if I switch to spirits, I'm just going to get embarrassingly drunk and do really embarrassing things. So I kind of like, I have to weigh it up. I have to kind of like, I'll like drink beer for a bit, but like it's also then like key. Like if I start drinking spirits, it's like Mark's getting drunk. Mark's
drunk, the best drunk.
Is it? Yeah, it is. I really miss drunk. I really miss being on nights out, like just being that hammered. Always drink responsibly.
Wake up the next day.
Visit drink aware. But yeah, another thing that like I also considered about the study was whether to be a difference between men and women in the study, whether women are better at handling hangovers than men, but it didn't even go into that. So I had nothing to really take away from it in terms of that.
Like what? The only information it was older people don't get hungover.
Took into consideration levels of alcohol both people were drinking, and even when you compared similar amount of alcohol drinking at one given time, that it was still considered better off to be older than younger. And they said one of the reasons why they think this might be, as you get older, you have a like reduced pain sensitivity. You're better at dealing with pain the older you are than the younger you are. Which I never really knew that it was. It's just like life is hurting you so much that you're dead to the world, so you can just deal with any amount of pain. Hangovers just don't feel as bad as how bad your life is. It's basically what the conclusion they came to, I think. Yeah. So that's why they think maybe people who are younger might have a little bit worse time off. But I was interested if women would be better at dealing with it, because they do have a better immune system. It's one of the reasons why women generally live a little bit longer than men. It's also one of the reasons why, and I don't know if this is scientific, I just heard it off the internet, so let's take that as that, why women were more likely to get blood clots with the very rare vaccine. It was because of their immune system would overreact to lowering up blood platelets. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder if it would pay in dividends in terms of like healing from a hangover.
So you can better handle a hangover, but you might die.
Well, you have a very, very rare chance. You have more of a very rare chance of getting like a blood clot. So it could be. There's other factors in the whole blood clot thing. We're not on to talk about blood clotting first. There's other reasons why women might be more susceptible to blood clots as well. It's not just their immune system.
Is this just a Shite Talk science fact?
This is definitely a Shite Talk science fact. But yeah, this is interesting. Like, it could be the alcohol that people are drinking. Like you said, you kind of figure what works for you as you get older. Like, I know if I drink gin, I won't be able to walk, so I steer away from gin. And like you said, when you drank like beer, you got horrendously bad hangovers. So it could be just that your poison of choice. Like
younger people tend, I know a lot of people that when I first start kind of hanging out with them and drinking with them, they would start drinking beer and then they'd be like, oh, this lad's just drinking like whiskey and stuff. And then they'd try, they'd be like, oh, I'm going to stop drinking beer now and just start drinking whiskey with this lad. Yeah. But then like 2 or 3 drinks later, you're like, man, you're fucked up. You need to go home.
Yeah, because they did actually point out the obvious here. They like came to the most obvious conclusion. They said, "Oh, if you, the more drunker you feel on a night out, the worse your hangover is going to be." Like, okay, like it's like, well done. I don't think you really needed to do a scientific study to come to that conclusion. Like, if you feel drunk, you'll have a hangover in the morning. Was the most obvious.
The more you drink, the drunker you get. Did you ever get a hangover from not drinking?
From not drinking? No.
Yeah.
I remember I don't know if I drank non-alcoholic beer on a night, because I don't generally drink non-alcoholic beer. I'm either drinking or I'll have water. But I kind of felt like there was something back there. There was kind of like, and I was like, oh, maybe it's to do with like the barley and wheat that's in the non-alcoholic beer.
I like sometimes if I go out and I don't drink, I will wake up the next day feeling hungover.
It's just lack of sleep that's causing you to have a hangover. Yeah, no, that's never happened to me. Yeah, but like, no, I think like, I do think it's definitely the poison of drink that you're drinking. Like, people have definitely different reactions. Like, same with tequila. If I drink tequila, I will throw up. So I just kind of steer away from tequila. When people say, "Oh, do you want to do like shots of tequila?" I go, "Oh, I'll take Sambuca instead." Like, I am not touching that death. But yeah, and if I drink gin, like I said, I won't be able to walk. Like, I went out drinking with one of my friends before around New Year's, and I felt we were meant to go into town, and then we were like, "Oh, we won't go into town. We'll stay around Nace." Walked around his village, around Kill, just drinking gin over like a bottle of Coke, trying to figure out if we'll go if we'll go to like Nace, or what we'll do, or basically. So we finished the Coke bottle of gin, then ran into one of our friends who'd said he'd drop us into Nace. We're like, oh well, grand, we'll go in Nace, and we kind of didn't even want to go out, but we only had like one or two drinks in and went home, and I felt fine. Went to like Abracadabra, felt fine, got a taxi home, was grand, sat in the toilet, and I was like, oh my God, it's like the world hit me all at once, and I could not. I was like, I am so incredibly, I just felt like instantly so drunk. I was like, what the fuck happened to me? So I was getting up and I realised, oh, like, I can barely walk here. And luckily enough, like, my room is like in down a corridor, so I can put my hands on the wall either side, and I just basically wall walked my way to my room till I got to my like door frame, and I was just like looking at my bed, and I was like, I am not making it across that floor. So I tried to lunge jump to my bed, and just like I basically fell halfway onto my bed with my feet on the floor, like crawled up onto the bed and lay there. And then I realized I was going to get sick, and there was absolutely no way I was getting to the bathroom. Yeah, and then I fell asleep after I threw up. I did wake up the next day with like one of my inventions. And that's like
one of my inventions.
Yeah, I woke up and I had an idea for an invention, which is like a puke bucket that like has a liquid, or has a gel in it that you throw up into the puke bucket, and then it hardens so it doesn't smell, and then you just like take the hardened gel and you throw it in the bin. So like if you do wake up on a night out and after throwing up and you don't want to deal, at least you don't have this rotten smell of puke, and you can just like keep it beside your bed. The other alternative to that is to address your drinking habits. The fact that you need to actually either make or buy a puke bucket. There might be like an underlying alcohol issue.
Yeah, like I don't know if that would work.
Well, I think it like I told other people, and they all think it's a great idea as well. But they think like, okay,
it's kind of the way, like how a chemical toilet.
Yeah, it basically is a chemical toilet, but in a bucket form. And they were saying like, yeah, like it makes sense. Like you could adopt it for like if you were on a plane, instead of puking into a brown paper bag, which is kind of a stupid idea, you could just puke into the bucket thing. It hardens and you throw it out. At least then there isn't smell like in and around the plane. And yeah, you could have it like, obviously you could use it for puke bucket for alcohol consumption if you're getting sick, but also could be something like if your kids are sick or any reason why you're getting sick, you could use it for like it doesn't have to be alcohol. I only use it because I drank gin one night and drank way too much of it and puked in my bed and fell asleep, but other people mightn't be me.
Oh, did you wake up covered in it?
No, it's like I knew I was going to try, so I tried to like capture as much of it and swallow it.
Oh no!
I'm not proud of my actions.
Oh.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Well, yeah, I still had to change the sheets the next day.
Oh, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, so
good job, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our study about. Apparently, you get better at drinking over time. I certainly have. But yeah, it could be also like it could be a reason why you get better at hangovers is you don't drink as much and you know your limits. This is also why people mightn't get as bad hangovers. Whereas when you're younger, you don't really know where your limit is.
Oh, you've built up a tolerance.
I think my tolerance has got worse.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah, I definitely think I get drunk easier as I get older. I don't think like I've got better at like even like recently enough.
I think
I have like a few glasses of whiskey and had a hangover.
You'll get drunk quicker if you're having fun.
Yeah, well, I think that's the whole thing. Is like you're actually not taking in consideration of how much you're drinking. You're like, oh my god, I'm having such a good time. Drink. I think that could be that as well. Whereas if you're like if you're out with someone who's zero crack and you're just in a pub and you're just basically staring at the wall and looking at other people having fun, and you are just out and you're just like, oh, I wish I was with those people. And you're just sipping on a pint. Like obviously you're not going to drink as much.
I kind of drink more in those situations.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm getting myself. Yeah, Ken goes to the bar, gets himself several shots.
Like I went to a Christmas party one year where I walked in. One of the guys, I have no interest in football whatsoever, and one of the lads was like, "Oh, I'm going to go down early. There's like a football match at 3:00. Does anybody want to come?" And I was like, "I finished work at 2. There's no point going home and coming back. So yeah, I'll meet you in the pub." When I got there, I was like, "I have no interest in this match at all." So I went to the bar and I was like, "Give me a pint of Guinness, a shot of Jägermeister, and a Jack Daniels and Coke, please."
You just got
this will sort me out.
Ken singing whatever football anthem was going at the time, absolutely locked.
Yeah, like I think the match was like over and I was fucked.
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember being at like going to a few matches in pubs with my friends. Like I'd equally not have interest in football, but I do find pleasure in teasing them whenever time their team does something wrong. Like if they miss,
I do that too.
Like if they miss a shot, I go Gerrard because they're a Liverpool fan, and it was around the time Gerrard slipped.
I purposely support the other team.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'd say because my friends are Liverpool fans, I go, "Oh, you always walk alone." Like if they lose, I go, "Oh, you always walk alone." And yeah, so like that's the only really times that like that I'd watch football match. But I don't drink because I'm having a shit time. Usually it's the opposite for me.
Yeah, I'll drink more if it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a pointless study that I read about alcohol abuse. What about Lidl, and why have they came onto our radar?
Lidl have come onto our radar because a Lidl store on Angel Street in city centre, it opened last year, but while they were like excavating the site or getting it ready to build the store or whatever, I don't know, there was something there before, but whatever the fuck they were doing anyway, they discovered that there was an 11th century Viking house underneath the store.
Yeah.
So they obviously like archaeologists and stuff were like, I don't think you can like build a shop there. We're going to have to like take all this shit out of it. So little management were like kind of think it's smartly. So they said that they were determined to protect the historical structure, but really they just wanted to have an excuse for people to come into their shop, I'd say. So they put in a glass floor rather than take all the shit out of it, so that if you go into the shop, you can see in an hour 11th
century Viking
house.
All right.
Under the fucking floor.
But like, it is just like, do they have like a kind of open floor? So, or did they have like, it's covered in like they have aisles, and then under the aisles is like the gaff.
Like it's so they've got different sections of the floor that are just gone to glass. Like so, like the kind of highlights of it. So they've got at the front of the store, they have 3 glass panels where you can see the steps down into the house. Then they've got another section of it where you can see like, I don't know, where they would have been fucking eating or sitting up or whatever.
Yeah.
You just see different parts of like the house at different points.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess that's interesting enough, but it was very clever for them, because obviously, like, there would have been historical, like, departments of the government coming around going, this is protected land. This is like, we're going to have to, like, spend years activating this, like, and see what we can find, or what we can, like, discover about, like, who lived here and all this other stuff. But I wonder, what was underneath it before this? Or was it just...
yeah, like what was built there before Little bought it?
Yeah, because, like, I think, like, a lot of Dublin is built over on other, like, obviously Viking sites. It was, like, one of the first towns built in Ireland. So, like, a lot of the waterways, like, I think there's something crazy, like 60% of Dublin's water get lost because of, like, really old canals that the city's built under. So the water just goes into these, like, canals that you don't see that are built underneath the city, and they lose like 60% of their water, some crazy amount of their water, to like old canals that are in Dublin.
Yes, like in the 80s or the 90s, they built like some new part of the fucking port in over like the biggest Viking site in Europe. They just totally demolished it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, we need to hold these
we'll just get rid of that there.
But
let's forget about the tourism and the money that could have generated. We'll build this big fucking building on top of it.
Well, like, do you know that building could be like €1 million in rent every year? Like, it could be like a lot of money that you bring in. Whereas tourists, you might get like maybe a few thousand every year. People
Viking tourism's massive.
Yeah, but we already have the Splash Tour. It's like, we have that covered.
The Splash Tour? Who the fuck? Do you know anybody who's ever done the Splash Tour?
I talked to one of the Vikings on the Splash Tour again before in the pub. He was a very excitable guy. He was like, a lot of them are actors who are like, have to find work, I guess. And
I thought they were real Vikings, no?
Well, he looked like a real Viking, but I guess he was really committed to the role that he was playing as a Viking on the Splash Tour. But like I sometimes go against like historical sites being like overly like protected, and realistically they're just a dilapidated building that, like, if you just tore it down or else put money into it and repurpose the house as well as being a historical site, instead of like just having this rotten building in your shitty town. Like, there's plenty of towns in Nace that have all these like historical site buildings that they're just like derelict and just left to rot on the side of the road, and there's like, you're like, that's like, you could make that into a hotel, or you can make that into something else. You're like, instead of having this eyesore.
Yeah, like, that's the problem. That's the problem with this country, that they don't look after things.
Yeah, like, have you ever been into like somewhere like Monster Evan or Kildare Town or historical sites? Yeah, have you ever been to like places like Monster Evan or Kildare Town, or even some other kippy little town, like on the, like, they go into it and you're like, oh, why is that building like Why don't they just like tear it down and just rebuild? Or can't historical site? And you're like, why? Why? The state of it.
Like, why not just like actually like take care of it?
Yeah, like I think there's even in Salins, there's like a glass building, and like it's fucking abandoned. It's like on the canal. It's just like, why is that just left there? Make it into like Airbnbs or something. Do something with it. Just don't leave it there. Sell it to some company that
more fun to just leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. So like sometimes I think you can go the opposite way, whereas like you just leave the derelict buildings in like valuable sites, and you're just like, either do something with it. If you're going to make it into a historical site, have it refurbish it and have it like looking the way it did, or fucking get rid of it. Like, stop holding on to the past. And there's also like Vikings were assholes as well. I'm also going to put that out there. Like,
that's a myth.
Well, they fucking raped and pillaged and burnt cities down. Like, if you could like they weren't the most like beloved people.
They were 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. But like you don't
like there was like, when Vikings invaded Ireland, part that they left out in history is that Vikings actually fought on both sides of that.
Well, yeah, they're kind of like mercenaries,
Vikings fought with the Irish against Vikings, as well as Vikings fought like to overthrow Ireland.
Yeah, but it was also like, okay, I'll help you out, but you give me this land, and then I have land, so I'll fight these invaders, right? Yeah. So like it was also like that. It's all about power.
That's the way everything is.
Yeah, that is the way. That's how life is. So yeah, that's why our little story is made into this. Little has their own Viking site that you can go into Dublin. So next time you're in Dublin, if you are outside Ireland, or next time you're in the big smoke, if you're inside Ireland, whereabouts is the Little?
Ainger Street.
Look it up. Ask the taxi driver. Somebody will point you in the right direction, and you get to do your shopping as well as seeing a Viking house. But we must go. Yeah,
sorted.
Yeah, exactly. Some tourist advice we've given some alcohol advice. We now give some tourist advice, and now we're going to go on talking about Morrissey. And he has like this story. When I first did it, because we passed on a similar story last week, and when we weren't going to really talk about it. So this week, I was like, I'll click on to see what it's about. And it was more Morrissey and his manager's reaction to this was so over the top and so pretty much like Morrissey that I started talking about it. So Morrissey and his manager recently come out and criticised Brendan Cumberbatch as well as the Simpsons for hurtful and racist episode that they did where one of the characters was based off Morrissey.
We should preface this by saying Morrissey's a bollocks.
Morrissey, like, he is a narky cunt. He is known for being narky. And he definitely hasn't done that in this article to, like, change that opinion as you read it. So I think the character that was like Morrissey, it was called Quillenby, and appeared in an episode of The Simpsons called Panic on the Streets of Springfield, which came out on April 18th. I tried to watch it on Disney Plus, but couldn't find the episode. So obviously they don't have the latest episodes on Disney Plus. And
I watched the Sky catch up.
Yeah. So like the character depicts a depressed British singer from the 80s who it becomes Lisa's imaginary friend. And I think like the idea of the character was meant to be based on several indie rock stars from the 80s, but Morrissey was obviously their biggest inspiration of this. It definitely does depict a character very similar to Morrissey. So first of all, there was like a statement released on the Morrissey Facebook page where he posted saying that unapologetically hurtful, racist, and trying to capitalize on cheap controversy and vicious rumors.
Where's his racist towards who? Towards him?
I think maybe he says how they depict a British person is racist. So like they're saying that's what's racist about it.
But he's no problem with groundskeeper Willie, who's also British.
Yeah, exactly. But it basically, I think what like this is just who Morrissey is and who his manager obviously is. They're just that sort of people who will just complain about the least thing. I think the episode goes...
Morrissey's a fucking Karen.
Like, the episode says that he's like a really extremist vegan, and he like tries to like push his vegan beliefs on his crowd and criticize people for the way they live their lives. So it goes into stuff like that. And that's what I think they were talking about, like vicious rumors and really hurtful things that they were saying. And maybe he was hurtful enough. So that was released on his like Facebook page, saying that it was hurtful and racist and spreading vicious rumors about him. And
the truth hurts, Morrissey. The truth hurts.
And then his manager comes out and starts banging on about Benedict Cumberbatch, saying, basically released a statement saying, could he be that hard for cash that he would agree to do to like slam another, he says rap, another artist so harshly? Clearly he would have read the script and the outline of it and could have said something to the writers. And he said he actually, basically saying that he could actually just be as big as an asshole as the Simpsons writing team and Fox, for just basically calling like Benedict Cumberbatch an asshole and saying that he's strapped for cash. So like I don't know if you can like claim to be a victim and then slag call someone. Yes, start calling like Benedict Cumberbatch a poor asshole and saying that the entire writing team of The Simpsons are assholes as well, for basically saying that like Panic on the Streets of Simpsons episode was hurtful and racist. Like I don't really see the racist. Like I haven't seen the episode, of course. I've read through a few of the comments of it, and people say that they're Morrissey fans and that they didn't find it offensive at all, and they actually really liked the episode. And like generally when Simpsons do episodes about when they do In Sync or when they do a character, it's because they like the artists, and they're just like, okay, they're poking fun at it, but they're meant to be a comedy show. But
they also generally offer a guest starring part to the person, like.
Yeah, like obviously, I think originally when the show first came out, Morrissey actually put up on his Facebook page that they were going to do a show where a character was based off him going to be in it. Obviously, didn't tell him or give him any pre-context to what the episode was going to be about, or how it was, what roads they were going to go down, because he like later on his Facebook page, like I said, he slandered Benedict Cumberbatch as well as the episode, saying it was hurtful and racist. So like, okay, that was then his manager like started like attacking news articles, because the news articles were reading what was being put up on his Facebook page, and I don't think his manager signed it as he was the one writing the post, and it was appearing on the Facebook page of Morrissey. Just obviously just put one and one together, and came up with that Morrissey was the one writing these posts. So then Morrissey's manager like started fucking attacking media outlets, saying that they're propagating false narratives and releasing false stories, saying that it wasn't actually Morrissey and it was him who was writing all these hurtful, nasty things about the Simpsons episodes, and it was his opinion, not Morrissey's. And saying that, like, basically attacking the media people who were writing posts saying that Morrissey is called the Simpsons episode racist and like hurtful and all this. So then you're like, okay, maybe this was Morrissey's manager. But then Morrissey writes an open letter, basically reconfirming what was written on his thing. So basically what his manager was complaining about the media people was actually Morrissey's opinion. Okay, he didn't write it himself. But like, why are you fucking going after media outlets for writing a post that appeared on Morrissey's fanboy page? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's just attacking people. Like, if you are going to release a statement like this, you want people on your side, and like they're just fucking assholes. So they just attack everybody. They're just annoyed at everybody. So then people are writing articles, giving them publicity, saying that they think the Simpsons is racist, and then they start attacking them for writing these posts as well.
I'm going to look up why is Morrissey a bollocks.
Yeah. So Morrissey wrote an open letter because obviously an artist like himself wouldn't subject himself to a social media page writing on that. He must write on flowing ink and have his opinions expressed in an open letter. Basically, what he did was confirm everything that was in the Facebook post, but started to hint that the reason why he was annoyed was he was unable to sue or threaten a lawsuit against the Simpsons, saying that they used his character or his likeness in every way but name, and in that way, because they didn't use Morrissey or any of his songs or any of his kind of music, he couldn't sue them. And the reason why he's really annoyed with the Simpsons and Benedict Cumberbatch is because he couldn't file a lawsuit against them, so he had no way of hitting back at them. It's like,
what a bollocks.
He's like, I couldn't sue them, so I'm really, really annoyed at them over them not using my name or any of my music, so I could actually just sue them. So yeah, obviously,
I'm really annoyed because I can't sue.
Yeah, obviously, this comes in light of your man Hank Zimmerframe is his name, or what's his guy?
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria, sorry.
Zimmerframe.
I think the mold man is called Hans Zimmerframe. I think that's I think that's who.
Are you thinking of? You're thinking of Hans Zimmerman, the guy who wrote Spider Pig.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Hank Azaria or whatever his name, the guy who did a poo. Yeah. Recently came out and said he felt that he had to apologize to every single Indian American after the voicing the character from in the 90s, and basically he felt a little bit responsible for prompting racism, which I don't know, a lot of people really like that poo. I don't really see the racistness in Hank. There's definitely worse stereotypical characters. We talked about Groundskeeper Willie would be one who was he'd be I would rather be a loving father of 9 than a crazy Scottish man who lives in a shed. Scottish people must be absolutely furious if Indian people are annoyed at a poo. As well as that, he's a voice actor. He voices Dr. Hibbert. No one says that in two of them. He voiced a Spanish Jewish guy. No one says that. So I don't know if it's just the popularity of Apu is the reason why he got so much heat. But I think Morrissey was just capitalizing on that, and
the fact that he's a bollocks,
and the fact that he's an arky cunt. Yeah, I just love it. That fact that people are actually trying to not stick up for him, but at least just promote the fact that he's annoyed and maybe get Simpsons a little bit bad publicity. They're just reporting on the story as they seen it, and he starts attacking them.
Or maybe the Simpsons were like, oh, you know what, our ratings are down a little bit. We need a boost, so we're going to piss off Morrissey, get him talking about us. People will watch this just to see what the fuck he's giving out about.
Well, they're which C-list star can we slag off now? If they were doing that for publicity, surely there's bigger stars out there right now than fucking Morrissey.
Probably, but Morrissey's the one that's the biggest cunt.
Who will react the strongest? And it's a wheel of fortune. This is I don't know, the Kardashians, him, who else? Because surely you go after if you want someone that will cause controversy, obviously Donald Trump. You could do the Kardashians or someone like that, or you could do, I don't know, someone who's
Trump. South Park did Trump, and he didn't really care.
Yeah, like a lot of people do. Like a lot of people, like, they do really offensive episodes of some celebrities, and then like they meet them, like the writers will meet them in person, or the creators of Simpson will meet them in person, and they're like, "Oh, I love that episode. That was so funny." Even like there's like loads of
that's actually another thing where Morrissey the bollocks as well, because part of, I don't know if it was his statement or his manager's statement, says like Saturday Night Live is how you do comedy and satire properly, but they get in as much, if not more, trouble than the Simpsons for the shit that they do.
Yeah, exactly. So like they're just complaining that they weren't offended by it. Like I remember Jose Mourinho, who's a manager, or used to be a manager of several football teams throughout the years. When he was managing Chelsea, he was there was an Irish like voice. I don't know his voice actor, but he does impersonations of different people, and he got famous for doing Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho brought him to wherever they were having some team dinner, and asked him like to go into the dinner and pretend to be him, just impersonate him as the dinner was going on. And like Jose was there, and he came around and he like, did different footballers. He talked to them as Jose Mourinho while Jose was there. And Jose Mourinho is the one like who actually got him in, saying I want that guy in because he's so funny. He does such a good job of taking the piss out of me. And like I think one of the things that like you're meant to be able to do, if you're a person, or if you're a culture, or if whatever, is be able to look at yourself objectively and laugh at yourself. Go, ha ha ha. There's might be a very tiny bit of truth there, or a very tiny bit of like overblownness, or a stereotype there, or that mightn't be us, but there's a stereotype there, and I get where they're getting a joke from, and laugh at it. Like it's just, I think right now we're losing that as a society. Like I just like people are coming less crack.
People become less crack, minus crack. Everybody is minus crack these days.
Yeah, on the internet, the internet has created us, started to make us less crack, zero crack. People need to become more crack.
Yeah, bastards.
We'll start a campaign: become more crack.
Yeah, let's have more crack.
Let's have more crack. And one of the ways where we could possibly have more crack is by all going to Disney World. And I guess
I see what you did there.
Yeah, have to segue some way. And I guess if we go at night, it might freak the crap out of us, because they have dolls there, and the dolls don't get turned off, and they just keep moving, even though like some of the rides don't move. But not only that, is that their hairs actually grow too. You have a story about that?
Yeah, I know we were talking about this before. You said you were never there, but
never brought as a kid.
It's a small world. Yeah. Disappointing, Mark. Disappointing.
Yeah, and you're going.
It's a small ride. It's a small word, right? At Disney World, it doesn't. When the ride shuts down and stuff, like the dolls in it keep moving around. Like they do this like dance as you go around the ride, but the dolls keep fucking moving.
Yeah,
and the really bizarre part of it is that the dolls' hair. They need once a year. They have to get a haircut. And the reason that they need to get a haircut is because their hair is made out of yarn, and because of the humidity in Florida, the yarn gets longer over time, and once a year it needs to get cut.
Once a year, that's mad. Because I was wondering, I know there was like certain dolls that used to be out years ago that its hair would grow, and I always wondered how that happened. So this is basically the material of it. And like, would there be like professional hairstylists that come in? Because like, you can't just have like maintenance Mick over here come in and go, yeah, giving us a little bob there. Like, do they get like actual hairdressers in? What?
Being Disney, I'd say they probably do.
Yeah, they're not short of a few bob, but like they could have world class.
They're not short of money.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Okay, not that it's just got on. It's something completely different, but just being shorter, not being shorter money. Snoop Dogg pays a guy to roll blunts for him, so he has like an actual blunt roller, and he gets 50,000 a year. So some guy getting paid 50,000 a year.
That's fucking ridiculous.
To roll blunts for Snoop Dogg.
If you got fired, you'd never get another job, though. Like, imagine, what was your last job? Rolling blunts for Snoop.
Well, he'd probably get like some guy who's also that rich who likes smoking that much weed. All you have to do is say, "Oh, is a PA to Snoop Dogg or a musician," because pretty much that's what he is, a personal assistant.
And then they ring up Snoop looking for a reference. It's like, who?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the guy that used to roll my blunts. Yeah. Now I had to fire him. He kept smoking all my weed. Gone. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Snoop would be cool. He'd be like, "Oh, I'll give you a good reference." Like, whatever. It wouldn't be like Morrissey. Imagine Morrissey would be a lot worse. Morrissey would be like, "No, he's a fucking asshole. He couldn't roll a blunt to save himself." Like, well, imagine Snoop is cool.
What a prick! I seen him eat a chicken nugget.
Yeah, no, exactly. He brought meat into my house. But like, imagine maybe Snoop would actually just forget that you actually worked there. He's like, "Who? What?"
Yeah, who's that guy?
I had a professional blunt roller.
I'm who?
He's like, "I had a professional blunt roller. Damn, I need a professional blunt roller. Tell him he can have his job back." You come back again. Yeah. Like, "Oh, geez, Snoop, thanks for the second chance." He's like, "Why? What did you do last time?" He just keeps forgetting. Yeah, but that, and I don't know how that has nothing to do with dolls, but I just love the idea that like when just as people are going home, there's like a hairdresser. How many dolls are there on this ride that do they have to do their hair for?
Oh, like there's fucking loads.
Like I guess like if it is only once a year, like you come in for a day, you cut like loads of like dolls hair. At least they won't complain. Imagine maybe the like operators of the ride might go, "That's not the right bob."
So there's 240 identical dolls.
Oh, and they all have to have the exact same haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely getting like a hairdresser, a hairstylist in to do that. You're not gonna have Mick from fucking maintenance doing fucking.
He might do a good job.
He might, yeah. He might. That might be all he does. He can do that haircut like perfectly. Everything else he can't. He might just have a formula down of doing it.
He can't fix rides.
He can't fix rides. Yeah, exactly. He electrocutes them too much. They're like, "What can we do with this useless cunt?" And they're like, "Oh, just get him to cut the doll's hair." And it just been his like, it was his calling in life was cutting these doll's hair.
He's just loving life now.
I wonder if he does it like, does he do them all at once? Does he just like, is it just like that time of the year where you're like, "Oh, 204," or does he have like, "Okay, I'll do 10 this week and then I'll wait a few weeks and I'll do another 10." And yes, there's a space out through the year because 240, like if you're going to get a hairstylist in, you're probably going to get one in and you're going to just do it all at once and I'll get you back next year. But if it's, it might have.
It's probably all at once because they would have all been like put in there at the same time, so they'd all be due for a haircut at the same time. Yeah,
exactly, and yeah, they all have to look the exact same. So you have one that's like 6 months hair growth there. It's not going to really look the same. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to like see. I imagine they might have hairstylists and stylists there anyway for characters that walk around. I was never there. This is like one poor boy's imagination of what.
They probably have like hairstylists and makeup artists there anyway.
Yeah, but we'll move on to idiots of the week now. We're running extremely out of time, but we'll try to push these two stories pretty quick through. So the idiots of the week is part of the show where we create 4 idiots by it's where we talk about really dumb things. We don't generally do really dumb things on it. Sometimes we say really dumb things though. And this, for our first idiot of the week, comes from Ireland, or it's basically the Irish government. And it's kind of related back to last week's Idiot of the Week. And if you haven't listened to the show from last week, basically we had a French guy failed a citizenship test to get into Quebec, which is a French-speaking part of France, and he failed the citizenship test because they claimed that his French wasn't good. It turned out to be like that, the listening part of the test, where he has to write what he hears in French and write it in English. He failed, and it's because he has such bad English, and the test kind of is designed for English-speaking people who want to live in Quebec to make sure that their French is good enough. His English wasn't good enough, so he failed on the fact that, like, they said his French wasn't good enough to live in or to get citizenship in Quebec. And he made on the Idiots of the Week. He didn't really, like, looking back, he probably didn't deserve to be on Idiots of the Week. It was just that the test probably should have been on Idiots of the Week. However, Ireland said, hold your pen there. We got this, because they have the opposite story happen over here. So last week we talked about how ironic it is for Irish people to criticize another culture for not being able to speak their native tongue when most Irish people can't speak Irish fluently. There's a Chinese couple applying for citizenship in Ireland, and obviously they want to show off how much they want to be Irish and how much they're going to try to assimilate into Irish culture, and the fact that they went out and learned Irish. So they filled out their citizenship form in Irish, and it got rejected because it wasn't in English, and they were asked to reapply, but in English this time.
You know what makes this even better?
What?
The man in this couple, do you know what his job is?
What?
He is a professor in UCD's School of Irish Studies.
so he's a professor, like, teaching people in colleges, like, how to, like, translate the language or how to speak the language, like different dialects and stuff like this.
And his wife is a linguistic anthropologist in Trinity College. So
they're, like, pretty smart. They're two really smart people,
like, and they both speak Irish fluently.
And they're obviously they want to show, like, how massive and big their brains are, and they're like, well, let's apply for this in Irish. And, like, in fairness to them, there is legislation in Ireland that all government forms, which you'd imagine citizenship would also count as a government form, has to come in English and Irish and has to be accepted. Because, like, there's parts of Ireland that where their first language is Irish, like parts of the Gael talked in Galway and other places where, like, if you go to these places, they'll only speak Irish and they'll look at you if you don't speak Irish, unless obviously you come with an American accent, they're going to understand. So, like,
they when they moved to Ireland, when this couple moved here, the man moved over first.
Yeah.
And the wife had an issue getting a work permit for here, you know, like I don't know, like a fucking whatever. And they sped up the process of getting her a permit to work here by contacting the Department of Employment in Irish.
Yeah.
Which got their whole thing processed quicker, because they had already, like, they were proving that, you know, they'd been living here. Well, he'd been living here since 2008, fluent in Irish. And they were like, oh yeah, well, if you're that invested in this country, yeah, sure, your wife can stay here.
Yeah.
And now they're like, yeah, you want your citizenship, do it in English, please.
Well, no, like, why they were probably led work here is because Ireland has a shortage of Irish speaking people in workforces, to the point where there's certain, like, all Irish schools where the teachers can't actually teach fully in Irish because they don't know enough Irish, and they just can't find enough teachers out there that has good enough Irish to work in all Irish schools in parts of the country. So, like, there's a serious lack in the educated workforce of like fluent Irish speakers, and that's why like she was probably given citizenship. They're like, oh my god, she speaks Irish. We must have her. Really need Irish speaking people here as soon as possible. So they're like, that's another reason why she was given citizenship. But like all government forms have to be processed in English and Irish.
It was brought up in the Dáil, and the Minister for Justice acknowledged that the couple's application had mistakenly been returned because the staff didn't recognize the language.
That's even better. Like, okay, I'm only learning Irish now, so people in non-Irish glass houses shouldn't throw non-Irish glass stones or whatever the metaphor for it should be. But I would have been able to recognize someone
that is Irish,
yeah, that they're at least writing in Irish. Like the fact that they couldn't actually recognize their own language as well. There was also a case, I think it was a person was pulled over to the side of the road, and it caused a 3-hour delay because the guard, who's meant to have Irish, but now they changed it from mandatory having Irish to you have to have a second language, and he couldn't speak Irish, and it took them 3 hours in order to get an interpreter on. So to give the reading was right, because the person spoke to him in English, spoke to him in Irish, and demanded to speak to him in Irish, and demanded his that he be addressed in Irish.
My friend, I know a guy who got he got done for speeding and dangerous driving, and like he was looking at possibly going to jail for it. That's how bad the driving was. And when he went to court, it got thrown out because his solicitor argued that he should have been read his rights in Irish. And the judge was like, yeah, fair enough. I acknowledge that. Yeah, that should have happened.
So he was like, okay, that makes up for your dangerous driving. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it got thrown out. He got away with I think he had to donate €500 to charity.
Oh, that's decent of the judge, considering that they're thinking they're bringing in a law that will possibly have €100,000 fine if you try to sell a Metallica ticket for more than face value.
That's
500 fine for dangerous driving is fucking pretty reasonable. But yeah, I know also in the EU, so it's like Irish is a recognized EU language, so they're meant to have interpreters. And a few years ago, Irish politician went over there and didn't really think about how he was going to end the speech, because he ended it in Irish, and that's kind of like all Irish politicians will do that. They'll finish off their speak with a line in Irish that usually means thank you very much or something like that. And it caused half a day delay because they didn't have Irish translators there at the ready, so they had to there's just two people over there when anytime an Irish politicians over there as interpreters. They had to get those guys, then they had to interpret it obviously from Irish into English. Then they had to get the English interpreters to do French, German, and all of the other various different languages that there is, so that all politicians who were in that room, imagine the EU is made up of 25?
27 now, it's 26.
Yeah, 20, it was 27.
Now.
Yeah, 26 was 27. England were still in there. Countries, pretty much all of them have different languages, bar Ireland and England. So it's just it's had to be translated in so many different languages. It's just because one Irish politician didn't think of if I finish off the sentence in Irish, it's gonna cause mayhem.
Or maybe he did.
And just was absolute bollocks.
It's just fuck this.
But if I was an Irish politician, I was like, well, one way of keeping this language alive, if every time we speak in Europe we only use Irish, because then obviously people have to go over and translate. So you give Irish speaking people that have a job of being able to go over to live in Brussels for a few months a year, translate into. It also encourage Irish people to like learn a third language like French, German, Polish, Spanish, whatever you're having yourself. And like this would be a smart idea to like only speak Irish when you're in the EU, just for the simple fact that they'd have to invest in Irish translators.
Yeah.
You could say that they would have to now anyway English translators, because like the same thing would apply. We're the only English speaking country in the EU. But like so many
a lot of
EU countries,
a lot of countries will teach English anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of them would teach Irish. So I think Irish, like all Irish politicians out there, learn Irish, speaking when you're in the EU, for the simple fact that you get some glorious job of like some student out there gets to go over to Brussels free of charge, get paid quite handsomely, and have very little work.
Have the crack
in Brussels. I don't know if Brussels is worth going to see or live. Sure, I'm surprised if it doesn't pay well. Talking about EU and European member states, one of them is Poland, and I'm pretty sure Poland has been on Idiots of the Week before. Last time Poland was on Idiots of the Week was because a drunk man jumped into a bear enclosure and tried to fight a bear. So why have Poland made it onto our Idiots of the Week this week?
Well, we could have Poland and Idiots of the Week every week if we wanted.
Okay.
It's predominantly crack outlets on Idiots of the Week this week.
Entire town, city, I don't know.
Yeah, city. Massive, big city.
Some might say their capital. No, Warsaw's capital, sorry. Sorry, Poland.
So, residents of Warsaw or of Krakow were too afraid to leave their windows open or leave their home last week because there was reports of a dangerous creature hanging in a tree. The animal welfare officials got like hundreds of calls to go about this. It was described as a mysterious headless beast hanging in a tree. And when they came out, animal welfare officials discovered that this dangerous creature that had been outside for 2 days was actually a croissant.
A croissant. So, like, for 2 days straight, the people of Krakow was living in fear of a mysterious. Was there any reports of that, like, this animal had came from the tree into somebody's house and attacked them? Like, was there?
No, people, they were
like, because
they were saying that it was a sick cat or that it was a reptile of some sort, an iguana.
Yeah, like, well, like they like living in fear for 2 days. Like, you're taking some liberties to go from, oh, there's something weird in that tree, I think it might be an animal, to everybody has to stay inside. That thing could be dangerous. Close all the windows. like to get jumped to that conclusion, like to like do not leave your house. And in fact, it took 2 days, like, for animal welfare to come out and like to inspect the croissant.
They probably came out and couldn't find anything.
Do you think that was put there deliberately, and people, like, obviously someone was taking the piss, like, oh, I'm going to put that there, and start spreading rumors that it's like a vicious animal that comes through your window? People are like even like in like, croissants are quite small. Like, it'd be very hard to see a croissant.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to point it out to people to be like, oh, see that thing over there? Like, you'd have to look really hard at it.
But like, to say there's a headless creature in the tree. Okay, well then it's dead.
Yeah, exactly. A zombie creature. Yeah, exactly. I'm not really fearful of things. Like, generally, if like an animal is going to attack you, like, they're going to attack you by biting it. If it has no head, it can't bite you.
Yeah, I'm not usually fearful of things that have been decapitated.
Yeah, exactly. I take my chances. Yeah, so like, I'm surprised, like, croissant. Somebody could have thrown that croissant up, thinking like there might be birds in that tree, or come into that tree and land there. Like, oh, I'll throw a croissant up there, and then the birds can have a bit of croissant, and they like nibble that away. I'm surprised it wasn't taken by birds. Birds are usually pretty good at like spotting food and go, I'll have that.
Birds are bastards.
No, not all, no. You can't plant all birds into one brush. Like seagulls can go to fuck. Seagulls are the devil, and it should be wiped off the face of the earth. Like if there's one animal that we should actually make extinct, it's seagulls. Like pigeons are grand, crows are grand.
No, fuck pigeons.
How will Dublin people teach their kids how to walk if there isn't any pigeons?
Like we're humans.
Yeah, but like crows are grand because they'll wait. Crows will like wait around and show food, and then they'll come and take it. Pigeons seagulls try to intimidate you. Seagulls will just barely fly over your head by missing you. They'll jump up on the bench seat, and you're like, start walking towards you, looking at your chicken roll, and you're like, I will kill you.
I got bribed by a crow before.
I was getting intimidated by a pigeon. I was like, I didn't want to kick. Usually I just kick the pigeon or be aggressive towards the pigeon or chase him away. But I was with a lady friend of mine, and I didn't want to be. You don't want to kick a pigeon on a date. It's not a good move to pick a fight.
I know somebody
on a date when you're on a date with a girl. I know
somebody who got banned from the zoo
for kicking
because got banned from the zoo because a pelican stole whatever he was eating, and he punched the pelican, and the pelican died.
Yeah, because obviously the pelicans are allowed to roam free. But yeah. Was he on a date? He obviously wants to. He's not the zoo. There's no other reason. Unless you have kids or are on a date, there's no other reason to go to the zoo.
He's there like his family.
His family. Yeah, but exactly. My one of my friends had a chicken roll stolen on him by a seagull. And I was like, did you kick it? I was like, if it a seagull took my chicken roll, I would end that bird. But obviously, I was like, I was eating a chicken roll, and it was just going through my head what happened to my friend before. I was like, this seagull might try to take my. I was like, I can't hit it. It's like lucky enough, she chased it off. I was like, grand.
So you let her do all the hard work.
Yeah, so it's either me kicking the bird. He's like, you don't be overly aggressive. I was like, well, ease them into it. Yeah, so I guess that's our story this week. How the good people of Krakow was living in fear of a pastry, and how Mark was being intimidated by a seagull. Yeah, so that's our show this week. Yeah, we went way over the time, and we'll be back next week. And yeah, talk to you then. We'll be on to 189.
Shut up and sit down.